NJIT is going Google. We're going where? Google. NJIT is transitioning its staff email, contacts, and calendars from Exchange, Oak, and other legacy systems to Webmail by Google, NJIT's implementation of Google Apps. What are the services that you get with Google? You will get mail, contacts, calendar, docs, drive, and much more. Before you start using the Webmail by Google, you may have some questions. For example, why are we migrating to Gmail? What happens during the transition to Webmail by Google? What do I have to do? And where can I learn more about Gmail? Let's start with why we're migrating to Gmail. Why are we migrating to Gmail? Over the past 20 years, faculty and staff at NJIT have used a number of different email systems, such as Admin, Alpha, Oak, Tesla, Mailhost, Homer, etc. And over the years, management of the legacy email systems and email addresses has become complex and confusing. Mail services are being simplified and modernized so that the faculty and staff have an intuitive email address, all mail in one place, and access to it at all times. Several alternatives were considered, and the Google service was chosen. Students migrated to the Google service back in 2008. Here are some of the added benefits you will receive with Google's mail service. You'll have access to services from anywhere at any time using the Webmail by Google web interface. Your online storage will increase from 1 GB to 25 GB. Archiving will not be necessary for most people. And Google's powerful search feature will make it easier for you to manage your email. What do you need to know about the transition to Webmail by Google? To find out all about NJIT's transition to Webmail by Google and how to use Google products, open any internet browser and go to this particular URL. The website is https://ist.njit.edu/go Google. In the right-hand corner, you will find the particular links that will take you straight to useful resources such as Webmail by Google login page, instructions on how to configure mobile devices for use with Webmail by Google, tutorials, and frequently asked questions. Notice the red search box in the middle of the page. You can type any questions here pertaining to Webmail by Google migration. Under the search box, you will find tabs containing information that you will need before, during, and after the transition. What happens during the transition to Webmail by Google? You can find detailed information about the transition under the Before Migration tab. Here, you can click on the During Migration link to find out what you can and cannot do during the migration period. And please do not forget the Things You Should Know link. This section contains very important information about your account, such as how your email address will be set up, what doesn't migrate, and solutions to these issues if possible. Also, when you have some free time, go to the Things to Learn link to review a few tutorials before you start using Webmail by Google. Keep in mind that during the transition, you must use the Webmail by Google web interface. Depending on what email client you prefer to use, click on one of the provided tabs. Those that plan to only use the web interface, click on the Web Interface tab. If you're using Outlook, click on the Outlook Users tab. For those using Pine, Thunderbird, Apple Mail, or other non-Outlook clients, click on the Non-Outlook Users tab. And for those who wish to set up their mobile devices, click on the Mobile Device tab. Please note that if you are off campus, you may access your email at any time using the web interface located at webmail.njit.edu. Now let's go to the Web Interface tab. For those who prefer to use the web interface, you can just log into your Webmail by Google account by clicking this link. You can also view a list of supported and recommended browsers here. The After Migration tab has many tutorials on how to configure your web interface, regardless of whether or not you have used the Outlook client before the transition. The Mail, Calendar, and Contacts tabs have basic tutorials on how to use Gmail features. If you already know Gmail, you can click the Become an Expert tab to learn about more advanced features. What do you have to do if you plan to continue using Outlook with Webmail by Google? First, print the migration checklist for Outlook users for reference. In order to use Outlook, you will need to install Google Apps Sync. This application will allow you to easily link your Webmail by Google account directly to Outlook. It is very important during the Google Apps Sync installation that you follow the instructions step by step. You can start to use Google Apps Sync anytime after your migration has started. You don't have to wait until the migration of your old email is completed. Your email will appear as a new Outlook profile as soon as Google Apps Sync is finished with the profile link. At the bottom of the page, there is information on features that aren't available when using Outlook with Google Apps Sync. Please note that any forwarding that you previously had is stopped after the migration. Now you are ready to organize your new Outlook profile. Note that this section is for Outlook for Windows only. Notice that there are many steps that you have to follow to configure Outlook, and some of the steps will require you to use the web interface. Step 1 shows you how to recreate any Outlook server rules as a Google filter in the Webmail interface. You can either use the video or the step-by-step instructions to learn how. Step 2 shows you how to set up your out-of-office message from within the web interface. Steps 3 and 4 show you how to set up a global address list with only faculty and staff contacts. Step 5 shows you how to set up your favorite folders in Outlook. Step 6 shows you how to open your archives or personal folders using your old Outlook profile. Step 7 shows you have to delete the extra contacts folders created by the migration. Step 8 shows you how to recreate your distribution list in your contacts. Step 9 reminds you to recreate your signature since it wasn't migrated from your old Outlook profile. The Outlook public folders will not be migrated at the same time as users, so if you want to access your public folders, you will have to click on this link for instructions on how to do so. Outlook top-level notes are synchronized with your new Outlook profiles during Google Apps Syncs, but categories aren't. If you want more information on journals or tasks, click on the links provided below. If you plan to use Pine, Thunderbird, Apple Mail, Windows Mail, or any other non-Outlook clients, you will have to follow separate instructions. Before you configure your client, you will need to log into the Webmail by Google web interface to validate your account and then sign out. To configure your email client to read your NJIT email, you will need to follow these 2 steps. First, set up your Webmail by Google IMAP and POP password. This password is not related to your UCID and it must be different than your UCID password for security reasons. Second, follow instructions to enable IMAP and POP and configure your preferred email client. Note that Outlook for Mac OS X is not compatible with Webmail by Google. For more information, click on this link. And finally, below is information on how to configure Pine or Alpine for staff who have been migrated from Oak. The email and calendar sharing and delegation setup has to be done from the Webmail by Google web interface. The instructions on how to set up the delegates are located under the Web Interface tab at the bottom of the After Migration tab. If you are an Outlook user who needs to delegate and/or supervise someone's email or calendar, open the Outlook Users tab and click on the third tab, Delegation and Sharing. Setting up your mobile device is fairly simple. For your reference, the first link will take you to a printable quick start guide. To set up your mobile device, you will need to follow the steps in order. First, enable your IMAP settings inside your Webmail by Google account. Second, set your Webmail by Google IMAP/POP password. This password is not related to your UCID password and it must be different for security reasons. Finally, depending upon what type of device you have, click one of the links provided to configure your device. If you wish to learn more about Gmail, go to our tutorials page. We have on this page tutorials for beginner, intermediate, and advanced users. Some of the tutorials are designed specifically for Outlook users where they can learn how to transition from Outlook with Exchange to Outlook with Google Apps Sync for Webmail by Google. With Webmail by Google, you get more than just email. Now, NJIT, let's go Google.